What's up, everybody? We're back outside the squared circle. Frank, Dennis. So this is pretty much going to be an all Canelo Alvarez versus Chavez Jr. podcast with the big fight coming up. I would say this is fair to call this the biggest fight of the year thus far, right?
So far,
right.
I would have to say so because I was thinking about other ones like how big was Danny versus Triple G. I would slightly sway this. I guess a little bit. I don't know, a little bit more.
Yeah. Would you say Brooke and Spence? I wouldn't say. I think that fight means more. But in terms of the event, this one just seems to be the big event thus far of the year.
Excuse me. Yeah, it does. Like, I mean, that's okay. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, Brooke versus Spence, that fight means more to boxing as far as rankings.
Right.
But this fight seems to be a bigger event overall.
Right.
So,
exactly.
I guess that's how I would classify it thus far. So, like, I think there'll be a bigger fight. Like, if let's say if Fury versus Anthony Joshua can get made,
that would be a big fight.
Something like that, or if Canelo versus Triple G,
or hell,
or even Ward versus Kovalev too.
Yeah,
you know
I think, man, you know what though. With that being said, and I don't want to stay on this too much. I want to talk about the actual fight, but this is actually a solid conversation too. Fury versus, Joshua versus Klitschko might have been bigger than this. Just because, and I only say that because, one, it was in England. We know the English fans are crazy about boxing, much more so on a bigger scale than America. And then, two, that fight, no one really knew who was going to win. You had, that felt more 50-50. Whereas it seems like Canelo is heavily favored. I haven't looked at the Vegas odds, but just amongst boxing fans seeing everything, no one's given Chavez too big of a shot. So I think, but it's two Mexicans going at it though, man. I mean, we know the Mexican fans are
huge. Cinco de Mayo,
right.
A huge event.
Right. It's definitely a debate. I think it's definitely a debate. Anyway, so I want to start breaking down this fight a little bit before we actually pick a winner. I would like to say something that I am excited about seeing in this fight. When it first got made, and I might have even been on the podcast and said this, that the fight was a joke. I still kind of feel that way just because I feel like Chavez hasn't earned the shot. It was just kind of given to him. But then again, a lot of his career has been given to him with his name. Let's not even get into that. Let's move on. But the thing I am excited to see...
I think you should stop right there. Right there, just for a second, if you will.
Yeah.
Why do you think he is given this fight? And do you think his name, because the fact that he hasn't done anything in a while, do you think his name should have been big enough to earn him this fight? If you will.
So why it was handed to him, I think, was clear. Oscar just doesn't want to put in Canelo with Triple G just yet. And I think they picked his name because, one, it's a winnable fight, and two, we get to see how Canelo responds fighting someone bigger than him, which I think Triple G would be, or they'd be comparable size. Canelo really hadn't fought someone his size yet. You know what I mean? So I think those are the two bigger reasons as to why this fight was made. And that actually connects my point to, that's the one thing I'm excited about seeing, is we're going to see what Canelo, what his skills really are about. Granted, it's not like he used his size to his advantage in any of his fights. He still outboxed people. When he fought Trout, he had a little bit of a size advantage. He didn't use it. When he fought Floyd, he clearly didn't use it when he probably should have. You know, when he fought Kirkland, when he fought Cotto, he didn't really use his size advantage that he has against these guys. But now we're going to really see how, because Chavez is probably going to outweigh him by at least 10 pounds. Chavez is going to get up to about 190, 185, 190. Canelo usually rehydrates to 172 at his max. That's the heaviest I've seen him, right? We've seen him against Floyd at 168 going into that fight. So he rehydrates a lot as well, but that's what I'm excited for. Are you excited for similar reasons, or do you have a different reason of excitement?
I'm excited for the similar reasons that I cannot remember the last time. Like, I asked myself today, I said, when was the last time we seen Canelo in a fight when he was a smaller guy?
Or have we
When
ever?
was the last time we seen it? I couldn't think of the time when I seen Canelo in a fight, and I was like, he's gonna be the smaller man in this fight.
Right.
I don't know if I've seen that yet. So just because of that, this is intriguing. It's intriguing to see that Canelo is actually going to be the smaller guy. He's going to get a chance to see how it feels to have a guy probably more powerful. I think it's safe to say that he has more power.
Yeah.
More powerful than him and bigger than him. It's gonna be interesting to see him have to not be able to steamroll a guy, but just, you know what? I'm gonna have to be smart this whole fight and keep him off of me, as well as other guys got to keep Canelo off of them.
Right. Right.
His job the whole time is to keep him off of them.
Yeah, and actually, this is something I want to ask you. I'll preface the question because it's something that I don't know. I want to see if you've had this or thought about this going into the fight. So, we all know the way to beat Canelo is to not come straight forward. He's going to pick you apart. Anyone who comes straight at him just gets picked apart. He's too good of a counter puncher. He's too accurate. He's too strong, right? We know that. Very good body puncher. But... So will Chavez going into the fight, knowing that that's his best success? We've seen him try to use movement against Brian Vera, against Fanfara, and he doesn't really look comfortable doing so, right? It doesn't look natural for him. But that is the way to beat Canelo, is to use movement, have different angles, use your jab, kind of stay on the outside. Do you think he's going to try any of that, or is he just going to go and be the inside fighter that we saw, against Andy Lee and the other top 10 contenders that he beat when he was at middleweight?
I think we're going to try to see him use his size advantage to wear Canelo down. I think he's going to be over Canelo like a cheap suit. He's going to try to wear him down.
Yeah.
Because I don't imagine that, even though he has Nacho Beristain, which he's a great coach, and he's good at making fighters think. So I think he's going to do it. He's going to have effective aggression, rather than just I'm on you throwing, smothering his shots and nothing's really getting off, and then Canelo's getting the cleanest shots off and getting away. I think we're going to see some effective aggression, and Chavez just continuing to pressure him. And one thing we know about Chavez, he's a great body puncher.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see him try to break down Canelo and wear him down on the fight, because we see. Okay, you look at the Chavez versus Martinez fight. When he tried to box, Martinez just had his hands down, just pecking him away.
Yeah.
Pecking him away.
Yeah.
When he brought it, he almost got him out of there in the 12th round.
Right.
That's what we got. I think he knows that, and he even said it in the face-off. You see what happened? What happened when I fought Martinez? He was done after me.
Right.
I think he knows this man. If I just apply pressure on Canelo and be smart about it, at some point in time, I'm going to knock him down or break him down.
Right.
That's what he has to be. He has to, I think.
And see, that's the side that I'm leaning towards, because I always feel like as a fighter, or really in any sport, you always want to play to your strengths. And his strength is coming, just like you said, what he did with Martinez. He tried to stay on the outside. He tried to box him, and it didn't work. He finally came forward, landed some shots, and almost got Martinez out of there. That's his strength, is being on the inside, getting close to you, getting those good uppercuts, getting those good body shots, setting up his hooks. So I'm leaning towards that, but something also, I have a feeling that, at least for the first maybe 2 or 3 rounds, he's going to try and box on the outside. But then I feel like once he starts feeling those Canelo body shots, because as bad as Canelo is at cutting off a ring, it's not like Chavez is all that nimble on his feet. He's not that hard to catch. Brian Vera was catching him. You know what I mean? So and that's no offense to Brian Vera. He's a very fun fighter to watch.
He will be there to get hit.
Right, exactly. So that was the point I'm making to connect to. That's what I'm excited for. Is this is going to be an action-packed fight. For as much as it really doesn't mean to the sport and to whatever division Canelo's going to go to next, he's saying 160. The fight itself is going to be exciting, and I think that's going to be great. But the one thing, so you mentioned the face-off, and I want to know if you noticed this too. Now, we've seen Canelo in numerous face-offs. I'm pretty sure he had one against Floyd. I know he had one against Lara. And did he have one with Khan? He had one with Khan. The trainers were there too, I want to say. I'm pretty sure it happened.
I remember watching it.
Right, but it really didn't even matter. The point I'm making is, in all those, he stayed calm, cool, collective, just like another day at the office. He really dislikes Chavez. He was
That's how I said that.
Bro, you told me it because you saw it first. I just saw it yesterday. I finally had a little bit of time to kick back and watch it, and I was like, dude, Canelo really does not like this guy. He was interrupting Chavez, and to me, like, Chavez was being respectful. I didn't think he was saying anything disrespectful, and Canelo was just chomping at the bits to just, anything he said, he refuted it. He kept going back and forth. I was like, dude, we've never seen Canelo fight angry before. We know he didn't really like Lara's trash talk, but I felt like that didn't really get to him. There's something between them that Canelo does not like, and I'm excited for it. That's making me excited.
He would not even, this is how you know when it gets personal. When fighters don't even want to give each other any credit.
Yeah.
Respect them? No.
Right.
Most fighters like, yeah, I respect him. You know, I think he's lacking here, but I respect him as a fighter because he's like, no, I don't respect him. He doesn't deserve respect. You know, like, that's how you know when you can't even find anything good to say about the guy, you don't like this guy. That's how, like, they don't like each other. And
yeah.
And you can see Chavez was trying to be respected by saying, hey, I get what you're doing. Hey, maybe I would have done the same. But Canelo was just like, who are you to judge me, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Canelo almost feels like Chavez don't have a right to speak on his name or say anything about him because of how he handled himself in his fights. But Chavez feels like, hey, even though I had these situations, I always had balls.
Yeah.
That's how he feel like.
Right.
He's trying to insinuate Canelo doesn't have balls because of the way he handled the WB situation with G.
Yeah.
And I think that's getting to the same very reason that Canelo wanted to set this belt.
Yeah.
Anybody that's insinuating or makes it seem like Canelo doesn't have heart because let's be honest, Canelo's a prideful guy. He has pride.
Yeah.
And Canelo doesn't shy away from anybody that I've seen. I think the fight with him and Triple G is more business than anybody's scared. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that when people take shots at him like that, it kind of gets on, and it's good to see because it shows his human side.
Right.
It kind of gets under the skin a little bit. Like, what? I ain't afraid of nobody.
Right. No, and I agree. And the thing is, I think one of his oh no, I'm sorry. What I was gonna say was, Chavez. I feel like he has the right to say that. What he said in the face-off, because he was in the exact same situation that Canelo's in now. He won the belt, and a lot of people didn't like it because Martinez got stripped. Do you remember that he got stripped for, I forgot who Chavez beat him and took the belt. And it was a huge ploy by the WBC. And
was it Andy Lee?
It wasn't Andy Lee. It was
he beat somebody.
I want to say it had a Z, Zabika, something. Anyway, so Chavez beats him, and then wasn't Martinez with Lou DiBella? He was with Lou DiBella. They fought to finally get the fight, and Chavez was right. Bob Arum didn't want to make that fight. He came out on record afterward and said, look, this is exactly why I didn't want this fight right now. He wasn't ready. But Chavez told him, look, I want that fight. He's talking a world of shit. I'm prideful. After a while, that's starting to get to me. I need to fight this guy. Granted, he lost pretty much every round but the 12th, but he at least got in there with the guy. So in Chavez's mind, he's saying, look, I might have lost the fight. You're saying I didn't represent our country well, but at the end of the day, I fought the guy they said I wouldn't fight. You have yet to fight Triple G. Right? And I think
that's the point he's making. Like, I got balls, pretty much.
Right, and that's right. That's exactly what you said. He's like, I have balls, and you've shown us that you don't. The one thing I found interesting, though, was Chavez was like, yeah, they say you're fighting smaller guys, and it's, you're picking on people, and that was I think the first time Canelo interrupted him. He's like, no, they just say that about one. That was just one fight. I think he was talking about the Khan fight that they criticized. But Chavez kept saying like, no, it's been multiple. And I'm trying to think, is he going back to when he fought like Alfonso Gomez and who is the dude, Josecito Lopez, and all these dudes? Like, is he bringing up? I don't know, man. It was just, that was an entertaining face-off. That was one of the better face-offs that I had seen.
Yeah.
But let's get into the.
Told him the only reason he thinks he wants to fight him because he thinks he's easier than Triple G. So, and Chavez, man, he feel like he has an advantage. Like, you think I'm easier than him, but really, I'm not going to be an easier fight. In my mind, that's how I think Chavez is thinking. Like, he doesn't know I'm going to be a much harder fight than he anticipates.
Yeah. If he makes the weight healthy, I think he will be a tougher fight than people anticipate. I still favor Canelo fairly heavily, but it will be a tougher fight. So let's talk about this. Let's say, what is Chavez's game plan? What does a Chavez win look like come Saturday? If he wins, what will the fight have looked like?
The fight will look like Canelo has get his shots off because he's gonna get his shots off because Chavez don't ever get hit. But you know what it's gonna look like? It's gonna look like one guy was more active and one guy landed the bigger bombs. That's what it's gonna have to be.
Right.
It's gonna have to be Canelo got his shots, but Chavez Jr. landed the bigger power shots, and that's gonna be cocky box. He landed this many, but he landed this many power shots.
Yeah.
And it's gonna have to look like that for Chavez to win. He's gonna have to eventually hurt Canelo at some point, and then that's gonna be the standard point to say, well, this is why he won. Was Chavez ever in any really danger? No. Sure, he got hit, but was he ever in danger?
Right.
No. But was Canelo in danger? Sure, he was in danger. He was hurt. He could have got him out of there, or he dropped him, or something like that. And that's going to be the standard point for him to win.
Yeah, and see, I'm on a similar train of thought here. With me, I think it looks like definitely that, and I also think it's going to look like Canelo coming strong out of the gate. And then the bigger guy starts to wear him down, where maybe he's not landing clean, but he's hitting you on the elbow. He's getting you on the shoulder. He's hitting you on the chest. You know what I mean? And that starts to wear him down because, like we said, he's never fought a bigger guy before. So we're going to see how he really handles someone bigger than him. But that's what the fight will look like, is him getting worn down. I think because skill for skill, usually when it's a smaller guy versus a bigger guy, it's those first 4 to 6 rounds you see the skill. Round 7 through 12, we're seeing the stamina. How much work did you put in the gym? Right? We're seeing your wits. Did you save enough in the tank for the second half of the fight? Have you recognized, as the smaller guy, have you recognized outs when your back hits the rope? When you know what I'm saying? Like, or have you set him up enough? Or even, has he respected your power as the smaller man? Because as the smaller man, if the big guy doesn't respect your power, he doesn't have to use angles. He can come straight at you and start to attack you, right? So I think that's what it's going to look like in a Chavez win. So that being said, what does...
And that brings it to a point. Canelo's going to have to get Chavez respect at some point.
Oh, 100%.
He's going to have to make him so he just doesn't continue to come. He's going to have to get his respect. Or Chavez is just going to keep coming and trying to wear him down. 100%.
And the fight, and I want to toss it to what we think a Canelo win would look like, or probably will look like, because I think we both favor him. But the fight that I always use that as is the Cotto Margarito one, right? We saw the more skillful fighter in the first 6 rounds completely dominate. But then you had the guy still throwing 100 punches around, wearing you down. He might not be hitting you clean, but he's hitting you. He's constantly putting pressure. And not only is that physical pressure, not only is that you're physically fatigued, but now you're mentally fatigued. You're like, I'm hitting, because Cotto didn't get
I can't keep him off.
Yeah, Cotto hit him with everything but the kitchen sink. And that's why when people say, oh, the loaded gloves, yeah, I get that. Maybe he did have loaded gloves. But at the end of the day, he didn't hurt Margarito with anything he threw. And that was the first time in Cotto's career that ever happened. If he lands those shots on anyone else in the welterweight division, they're at least getting hurt. Right? And Margarito was eating them and continuously coming forward. That's discouraging. If you're constantly clean shots, I mean, these shots were beautiful.
It makes you wonder, what do I got to do?
Yeah, you're like, what the hell? I just hit this dude. I mean, there was points where Cotto's landed 3-4 punch combinations to the body, to the face, and Margarito smiles and keeps coming forward. You're just like you said, what the hell do I have to get this? What do I have to do to get this guy off me? Right? And that's the fight that I point to. And that could happen here. So that being said, what does a Canelo win look like to you?
A Canelo win is a pure, clean boxing fight. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
He's smooth. He goes to the body. He gets when he ties Chavez up when he gets in and try to work inside. Get away, landing shots, counter punches him, landing cleaner shots, landing better shots, and get out of there without getting a whole lot of punishment. Because as you see, even though he's not as big as guy as I can't forget the guy that made Chavez quit.
Oh, Funfara.
When he said he hurt his knee, Funfara.
Yeah.
He just outboxed him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was just that's all it was he was outboxing him. And if we know Funfara don't have a lot of power, but he was just popping them and getting away and moving away from his shots and landing on them. And that's what Canelo's going to have to do. He's going to have to be the cleaner hitter and not get hit as much. Keep him off you and get away from this guy before he tries to smother you. When he gets inside, grab him up, get away, do your D, get out of there. And that's what a Canelo fight looks like. It looks like a speed bag versus a heavy bag.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you know, the point that I forgot to make earlier is that when was the last time, because we said when was the last time, or if any, have we seen Canelo be the smaller guy? But when was the last time it was like really clear that Canelo was the faster fighter? Maybe against Angulo? Angulo wasn't that.
I was say that Angulo.
Right, probably Angulo.
Because he really was just a faster fighter then.
Right, exactly. But
really was.
But even with that said, he hasn't fought in recent memory. We have one in Angulo, but outside of that, I think Trout had faster hands and faster feet. I clearly Floyd Mayweather did. Amir Khan clearly did. James Kirkland, that might have been a wash. James Kirkland had fast hands. There wasn't no real advantage going in with anything in that fight. So I guess what I'm saying is he wins the fight with speed, I think. And just like you said, he's going to keep his distance, which I think will be the mid-range. But one thing that I do think that, because I just think you forgot to say it because you mentioned it earlier, he's going to hurt Chavez early. He has to. It might be a pull counter. It might be one of his really good uppercuts. It might be a body shot. But I think he hurts Chavez early, and then now Chavez starts thinking. And Canelo's not a fighter you can think against. He's especially in this fight because he's just the superior boxer. Chavez is not going to outbox him like we described. The fight has to maybe even get a little bit dirty on the inside and frustrate Canelo for him to win that fight. Right? But that being said, I can see a knockout in this fight from Canelo. I can see Canelo knocking him out, not necessarily from one shot because it's a bigger guy. That's going to be hard to do. But someone constantly coming forward and taking all these shots. And we know Canelo could punch at 154 and 155 Canelo weight. Now he's at super Canelo weight. Is the fact that he didn't have to drain himself so much going to help him with his power? Where now he only has to focus on everything, and instead of making weight, he's focused on, the actual game plan? Or does moving up and he's fighting someone bigger than him not help his power? I think that's one of the bigger questions. But a Canelo win looks like he hurts him early and then he outboxes him the rest of the way, and then maybe due to a compiled number of power punches throughout the fight, he gets the stoppage anywhere from 8 to 12. Right? I think that's what a Canelo win looks like. And if it goes to the cards, I think Canelo...
I don't see... he's going to have to make the ref stop it because...
Right.
Chavez, I don't see any quitting that guy. If they stop it, I think Chavez complains about it.
Well, he can't. Right?
It kind of has that feel to it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I can win no matter what.
Right. And the thing is, though, but... people already aren't forgiving him for quitting against Fonfara. If he quits twice, the Mexican fan base is gone for him. There's no rebuilding that. Right? So I don't think he's in the position to quit. He can't quit in this fight. If he does, his career is over. Right. He can lose the fight. Right? If he just goes out there and gives it his all, that's fine. He can move on and have a few more, money fights. But he can't quit. He's better off. He can't
have a Victor Ortiz moment.
No, not at all. We still haven't.
No matter what.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. So he has to go out there, and if the going gets tough, he's gonna have to keep going forward. If he quits on his stool, or if he tells the ref I can't keep going, or tries to pull the slick, get up at 9.5. You know what I mean? Like all those little tricks, he's gonna be done. He's gonna have no more support from his home country.
But I don't think he will because I think this fight means so much privately.
Yeah.
I think these guys will go out there with the assumption that, you know what, you're going to have to get me out of here. You're going to have to knock me out cold to get this win.
I agree. I agree.
Think both of them will have that. Even because I can see Chavez hurt Canelo. I think Canelo just is like, come on.
Yeah. I agree. So who, we have a Mexican versus even better Mexican-born fighters. These aren't Mexican-Americans like Oscar De La Hoya and Victor Ortiz and Brandon Rios, who still had some, pretty big Mexican fan bases, but these are from the homeland. So these guys get the support. Who do you think is going to have the crowd support come fight night? Or will it be 50-50?
I kind of think Chavez, the underdog, will. I really think when it comes to Mexicans, they are so prideful with that whole Triple G thing.
Right.
Feel like I just feel like they want Chavez to be like, yeah, see, we told you. He's not afraid to fight Triple G. He'll do it for us.
Yeah.
I feel like they'll rally behind him. And if Canelo wins, right? He wins, and then he says he fights Triple G next. I think he becomes the next mega star.
Oh, 100%.
The pressure's on. If you want to be honest, the pressure's on Canelo. We're going to talk pressure. Who is the pressure on? The pressure's on Canelo.
Oh, yeah.
Canelo, he kind of needs to win this. Chavez is like, people want him to win, but they don't expect it because we've known he's undisciplined. We've seen him give up before. So, you know what I mean? It's like you want him to win, but you kind of expect it. Like, if he did this, it wouldn't shock me. But Canelo kind of needs this because he came and said, hey, I want you at this weight.
Right. I agree. I think you're 100% right. The pressure is only on Canelo. The only thing that Chavez has to do is get in there, give it his all, and not give up.
And give it his all.
And that's it. Canelo.
But
the reason why Canelo has so much pressure is he can't just win a split decision on the cars, 114, and then 115, 113. That's not gonna cut it. Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. Yeah, he has to not only win this fight, but convincingly, whether that's a wide unanimous decision and he just whoops his ass, or a convincing stoppage. He can't just scathe by. He can't just scrape by. It can't happen. Because then you already got, like you said, a lot of Mexican fans that I know, a lot of Mexican fans that are on forums and things like that, they're like, look, I'm from here. I'm from his hometown. I'm from Guadalajara. There's a lot of people who are mad at him about this. Right? There's a lot of people that are pissed about this Triple G situation. So if he just...
If you listen to Mexican boxers, you listen to like guys like Chris Arreola, the guys I've listened to, they're all like, kind of want Chavez to do it.
Yeah.
Even Robert Guerrero dad, like, you know, he's obnoxious. He's like, yeah, you know, I just want the guy to win. Like,
yeah.
It's like the Mexicans, they want Chavez to kind of... Because he represents balls and grittiness, you know what I mean?
Right. He's like the Mexican style. It's just, you know what I mean? That's what he's represented in the past, and that's what I mean. I feel like the Mexican fans are gonna be like, look, this is it. Say he gets the split decision or a really close unanimous. They're gonna say that's exactly why he didn't fight Triple G. He can't handle. I mean, this guy, he has more skills than the guy, but the dude's his size. He's finally fighting someone his size or bigger, and this is what we get. So all the pressure is on Canelo for this fight. Every single bit of pressure is on him. There no, you know what I mean? That's all we can say about it. So, I think it's prediction time. Would you like to share yours first, or should I share mine first?
I'll go. Everybody, I'm an underdog guy. Everybody know I love underdogs.
Yeah.
So it's like this, and I'm gonna be clear. I want to make it clear what I'm saying. My smart minds, business, fight, professional mind tell me Canelo will win.
Right.
But my heart wants to see Chavez somehow become what we thought he wasn't. I want him to finally earn his name.
Yeah.
That great name of Chavez. I want him to earn it. And I want him to go out there and pull off a great win and say, see, I told you. We knew he got some of his dad in him.
Yeah.
I know I've seen flashes of it. Here it is. But if I'm a bet man, I bet Canelo. I get the safe bet. But if I'm just a spectator, I want to see Chavez pull it off. I don't know if that helps anything.
Yeah. No, I understand. I would be in that position if I wasn't a big Canelo fan. And I don't let my biases show. I'm as unbiased as I can be. But just analyzing the fight, like you said, if you're a betting man, you're not betting Chavez. It just can't happen. He hasn't been at this low of a weight in I don't know how long. He fought Fonfara at the catchweight of 172. He couldn't make one. Was it 64 for Vera? They had to fudge that like the week of and once. So we haven't seen him this low. Granted, he is on target to make weight. Whether that's legally or illegally, we don't know. He's working with some shady people. Besides the point. It's hard for me to pick against Canelo in this fight. I just think stylistically, he's the better fighter. The only question, the only shred of doubt I have is can he overcome the weight? Can he move up that much in weight and fight a bigger guy, given that Chavez rehydrates to 190 and still win and still be good all 12 rounds. So my official prediction, I'm going to go, and this is contradictory because I told my boys it was going the decision, but now I changed my mind at this podcast. I don't know what clicked in my mind. I'm going Canelo TKO 11. I think I don't know how visibly hurt we'll see Chavez. I just think he's going to land way too many power shots, and either the ref, the doctor, or the corner is going to have to step in. Because Chavez just isn't very good defensively, and I think Canelo's going to counter him all night. I mean, Canelo's head movement is some of the best in boxing. He doesn't have the foot speed and the foot movement, but his upper body skills are incredible. So I see him getting the stoppage late. I definitely see him. And then, so I think a good segue before we can end the episode, does he fight Triple G next?
It's one of those.
Oh wait, you know what?
The back of your neck.
Let me rephrase it. Forget even that prediction. Who else can he fight other than? Doesn't he kind of have to at this point? Who else can he fight? Like we've seen, like the Khan, we got it. It was a big payday. Okay, push Triple G to the side. This one, still a pretty big payday. I kind of get it. Who can he bring up to do the like? Oh, okay, I kind of get it. Is there? I don't think there is anyone.
Just to quote Canelo, if this fight is good, they'll fight a rematch. If this fight is in the 12th round and it's a split decision, it's like, whoa, that could have won anyway.
Yeah.
They'll fight again.
Right.
If not, I think he'll fight David Lemieux because they put David Lemieux
on the undercard.
David Lemieux on his card for no reason.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's not on this. He just got through fight.
Yeah.
So they didn't come and say, hey, could you come back on this fight, this particular card again for no apparent reason?
Right.
This is the guy that's been marketed and promoted because although David Lemieux is a huge puncher, he's slow. He can't be hit.
Right.
And they think Canelo can outbox him, and that can set up a Triple G. So I don't know if we see. I think in September we either see part 2 to Pinata's fight, or you see David Lemieux in September.
And see, and that's why I wanted the Lemieux fight for this September. This May, because we all knew he wasn't going to fight Triple G in May. The card just didn't stack up right. I mean, that was predictable. That's why I was like, okay. Right. Let him get his feet under him, and a big puncher in Lemieux, someone that poses a threat, but Canelo is still clearly better than, and then get the Triple G fight in September. But this was just another stalling tactic to that. And that's what annoyed me more about this fight. Because like I said, stylistically, it's going to be fun. Win, lose, or draw. This is going to be a very exciting fight. But how much longer can you stall this out? And the thing is, I get it from a financial standpoint, right? Canelo makes up like 95% of the income from Golden Boy. Completely understandable. But two things. One, Oscar lost a lot of his big fights, and that didn't make him any less marketable. We loved Oscar because he kept getting in with the best and performed valiantly. He never got blown out by anyone. I mean, the Hopkins fight maybe, but he just bit off a little bit more than he could chew with that, right? But, and then two is that I don't want to see a 38, 39-year-old Triple G fighting Canelo. People age. He's a human being. He's not a machine. Yeah, I need it now where...
I want it now while they're both at their peaks.
Exactly. And you already have people arguing, which I don't necessarily agree with yet, that Triple G's already on the downslide. People say, well, he didn't look all that great against Kell Brook. And then now he just comes off a very close unanimous decision against Danny Jacobs. Like I said, I don't agree with that. I think if anyone rewatches that Kell Brook fight, it really wasn't as close as we made it out. It was just that the smaller guy landed some big shots, so you're like, holy shit, this is crazy. But if you rewatch it, you realize Triple G was really never in any danger. He caught a nice uppercut and a few counter right hands, but outside of that, he dominated. Now, the stance I have with the Danny Jacobs fight, why is it, and I want you to touch on this too, and then we're coming to a close here, people. I know this one, we've gotten a little wordy just for a one-fight podcast, but my thing is, why is it always that someone was exposed or someone, wasn't as good as they thought they were? Why can't Danny Jacobs just be that fucking good? Do you understand what I'm saying?
And that's just what it is.
And that's, but this...
When you're fighting that elite fighter, that's just going to be what it is.
That's what I mean.
When your guy proves to be an elite fighter, it's not that you're bad. This guy's elite.
Exactly.
He's not going to go away like everybody else.
Because to me, when people say that, whether they're doing this purposely or not on purpose, you're taking away credit from Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs fought his ass off that fight. That was the best Danny Jacobs I've ever seen. And anyone who listens to this podcast knows I look in Triple G in a very high light. I think he's one of the best. I mean, I think pretty much everyone that's a boxing fan thinks he's one of the best boxers on the planet. Now, ranking him is a different story. But what I'm saying is we know he has real skills. So why is it that when he finally gets someone who's very good that he fights, it's, oh, I knew it all along that Triple G was overrated. Why does he have to be overrated? Why can't Danny Jacobs just be that damn good? That's what bothers me. Is
we all know this. You know, like if you look at Keith Thurman, the one-time thing. He ain't been one time in a minute. And it's not that Keith Thurman is over-exaggerated his status as a heavy puncher. No, you're just fighting guys that can take your power and can also give it.
Right.
You're fighting elite guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're fighting guys that can get out of there like that. So that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it at least.
I do as well. And the thing is, more times than not at the elite level, the first thing you throw away is power. Most times at the elite level, you're not getting knocked out. Unless you're chinny. Like, we've seen like chinny guys like, Amir Khan. If you're chinny, then that's always the possibility. But when we see even two really big punchers, when Lucas Matisse fought Provodnikov, there wasn't even a knockdown in that fight. And these are two of the biggest punchers in the sport at the time. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't understand. It's just a weird disconnect to me that it happens like that.
That's what it's always like. And that's why, even with Spence, I think he's special. Like, you're going to have me going a different way. But when you get a guy in there that I say, hey, I haven't seen Spence take an elite guy that I can say he's just as good as Spence is.
Right.
If not better because of his experience. And we don't know what this guy's going to be yet. That's why I think we jump the gun a lot of times with people.
We do.
A lot of times and then what we do is we punish a guy when they just look pretty good instead of extraordinary against great competition. We punish him. No, this guy's fighting somebody that is just as dedicated, put just as many hours in, were just as bad as him. Why do we punish him? Because he had a good fight with him. Exactly,
and that you worded that beautifully, because that's the thing. And going back to the Triple G, is he's brought up as this monster. He's knocking out everybody. He could beat Ward at 68. He can go down to 54 and beat Lara and Mayweather, and he's marketed as this unbeatable guy. And then when he goes in against a boxer who is fast, has power, is a very good boxer, and Triple G beats him in a close decision, it's, maybe he's not all of those things. Or maybe he is, not that, I don't mean he is, because he's not, he's a human being, but I mean, like, maybe he is that good, and the guy he's fighting is just as good as him. You know what I mean?
That's it.
That's all it is. I don't understand that, and I really do think we're going to see that come May 27, just like you said with the Brook fight, Brook and Spence. People are and I love Spence. I would love Spence, if anyone on Spence's team is watching, I feel like I sound negative towards him. I love the kid. I think he's one of the futures of our sport. I would love to have him on our podcast to talk to him, but he might be biting off a little bit more than he can chew. He hasn't been tested yet. The guy, and it's not to his fault. The guys that were supposed to test him, like Algieri, Bundu, he just beat the fuck out of him. There's nothing he can do about that. Right? But he still hasn't had that adversity yet, and Brook is not going away. Brook is going to be there all 12. Granted, if I think Spence does have the power to knock anyone out at welterweight, but like I said, power is the first thing we throw out in the welterweight division. I mean, just in boxing. At the elite level, power is the first thing we throw out. So we're going to see who has the better skills, and to me, I think Brook has the better skills. And I'm sorry, but the point, I didn't even finish my point. So the point I'm making is Spence is being brought up as this, he's a killer. He beat Floyd in sparring, and he could beat all these guys. So even if he wins on a close decision or a very scrappy fight where, people maybe thought Brook won a split decision, whatever, they're going to be like, oh, well, he wasn't that good. How do you, he's fighting an elite fighter. To me, Brook is number one at welterweight. That's the way I feel. So I look at him very highly. If Spence were to just scathe by, it's still an incredible victory for me. I don't know if you feel the same. But him beating him in any fashion is going to be a good win. Because Brook is that damn good to me. You know what I mean? But that's not going to be the way people look at it. People are going to be like, oh, well, I just knew it. I knew Spence was overrated the whole time. And it's like, what the hell are you talking about, man? That's the one thing I'm not looking forward to.
Just answering that, I'm going to let it go because I can continue to drag this further because as you talk, it continues to make me want to ask more questions and to go into more subjects. But we're pretty far into the episode now.
Yeah. We can get into that since there's no fight next week on the 13th. I don't think. I just looked at the boxing schedule. I didn't see any fights coming for Saturday, so we can get into more stuff like that next week. If we might be coming out with 2 episodes.
My question
hopefully.
is, I want to know if Manny would have fight Keith Thurman right now, because them the two. Like, if you had the question who's number one at welterweight, I would say you have to even say Manny Pacquiao because of his resume and who he is. And then, even though he's old, he's still pretty elite. And then you take a guy that's the only unified champion at welterweight.
Yeah.
In between Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman, and that becomes a discussion in itself.
100%. We can actually, I say, part of our episode next week, we should just dive into the welterweight division. Let's just talk welterweights,
right.
Building up to that fight with Brook and Spence. I think we can definitely do that. But that is a good question. I have an answer already, but I don't want to give it out because we can talk about it next week. That'll be kind of a teaser for those who made it this far in our episode, for sure.
Right.
But yeah, so that's all we got, everybody. Thank you for watching. Our prediction: Dennis, his heart says Chavez, his money says Canelo. My heart says Canelo, and my money also says Canelo. Yeah, so, hey, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe. We're hoping to get you guys 2 episodes next week. We're going to have another interview with the fighter, hopefully, and then, like I said, we'll have just kind of a free-for-all episode where we'll talk about the welterweight division. And honestly, we actually have to talk about the heavyweight division as well, because we didn't get to dive into Klitschko and Joshua. It'll be a couple weeks late, but I know me and him have a lot of thoughts on that. We just haven't had a chance to touch on it. So we're going to touch on a lot next week. Stay with us. Like, subscribe, share, tell people about us. Like us on Facebook. Like us on Instagram. I'll put both of those links in the description. You guys have a good one.
Peace out.